Hello and welcome back to my craft room. I have got a completely unexpected surprise on my desk. I know who it's from because I can see the address on the back, which I'm carefully not going to show. This is from the lovely Jen you'll know in our Discord community. I'll leave my link tree in the description box so you can find your way to our free Discord community if you haven't already joined. It's full of lots of lovely people like Jen. Now, Jen sent me a parcel not long ago full of amazing fabrics and other materials to get creative with in my stitchery going into the new year. I have all sorts of plans for new stitchery adventures in the new year. She hasn't said anything about sending another parcel, so I've no idea what's in here. It's quite big, but it's quite light. Let's go in and find out, shall we? It's a really nice surprise because I was, to be honest, feeling a little bit under the weather today, so it's lovely to have something to cheer you up a bit, isn't it? I'm having one of those times where I have got, my head is so full of ideas, I don't know which thing to do first, and I've just, sometimes you get kind of almost paralysed with all the things, with too many things to choose from. I'm having that a bit, and then I don't get round to doing anything, and then I beat myself up for that, and yeah, I'm having one of those times. So this is really nice. Let's have a look. Right, I'm going to take you to the desk now. I think that is just like a protective thing on there. I don't think there's anything actually in that, so no. Keep that there, we'll use it. Oh, it smells lovely. Whatever's in here. Oh, Jenny! Oh, I don't believe this, do you know? Found out what smells so lovely. Oh, I love that. I love lavender. Old felted blanket. We were talking about this. We were having a private. You can have a private chat in Discord as well, which we sometimes do. We were, sometimes I'll ask her advice about things, or we'll just have a chin wag, And we were talking about felting old blankets. And I was saying I'll start looking out for old blankets to felt into. Kunin felt, best synthetic felt for burning into. Made with 100% recycled plastic bottles. How amazing! Jenny, thank you so much. Let's take it out of this box. Get rid of the plastic. She didn't give me any idea she was sending. There's something hard down there as well. There's something else in there. Didn't give me any idea she was sending this. Jen, you're such a sweetie, honestly. Look at this. So this is a synthetic felt, but let's bring you down a bit. So she's saying it's synthetic felt. So this is made with 100% recycled bottles, and yet it feels really nice and soft. Sometimes some of those really cheap synthetic felts can feel plasticky. They don't feel, and sometimes that's good. It depends on what you're doing with them. That can be really good for some things. But this just feels really lovely. There's no way I'd have thought this was made 100% recycled plastic bottles. Wow. Makes me feel better to think some of that plastic that we use can get turned into things like this. Look at these luscious colours. And the things that Jenny sent before, I'm so going to be getting into this in the new year. I've got big plans for the new year. There's another video I was going to make today. I'm wondering whether to do that at the same time. Fit this in with this video. I think I might do that. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. Look at these luscious colours. Beautiful. So for Jenny does all these amazing things with burning and ripping and slashing into fabric and then stitching into it, and she machines and felts and hand stitches, and some of the stuff she's made is absolutely amazing. Well, I'm sure all the stuff she's made is amazing, I just haven't seen it all. So this is an old blanket which she's felted, which she was saying the other day, it's quite hard work doing it. You have to do a lot of agitating of it. I don't think you can just kind of throw it in a machine and let it felt. I think it's quite so this beautiful piece as a base to work on. Oh, what fantastic. What is this for? Project card. So it's got a magnetic strip there. Project card. Is this for keeping samples that you've dyed or something? I'm sure she'll explain to me. What is this? Let's have a look at this first. Oh, Another piece of beautiful. I will still keep an eye out though. I've got somewhere, well, I know exactly where it is. An old kind of dark grey, it's an ex-army blanket, which I think is pure wool, so I thought I could felt that. So I will have to have a go at doing that. I'll have to send you some of that back, Jen, if you'd find it useful. And if I will keep an eye out in charity. It's nice, I love going around charity shops anyway, but I sort of don't buy things willy-nilly these days. I go in, I'm on a mission, and sometimes I go in, have a look around and come out empty-handed. You know, I'll only buy what I've kind of gone in for. So my son Tom and I will go around the charity shops, and it's nice to have something to be looking out for. So another thing Jen suggested, but there's kind of old kind of like lacy tablecloths, so you can work into them and use them as a kind of a base to work stitching into. So I'm going to be looking out for those and old blankets. Fantastic. Let's see. Oh, how exciting. Stitch swap and oh wow. Oh, so hang on, I've got to come back up now. I'm getting myself all in a dither now, because this is too many things all in one go. So in this envelope, I'm deliberately not looking. Jen and I have agreed to do the stitchery and the art swap this time. This is really fat. There's more than just a couple of squares in there. So this is for the great big little stitchery swap and the great big little art swap, where we're finding swapsters all over the world and sending 4-inch squares or 10 centimetre squares of art or stitchery to each other. Jen sent me, because she only joined Discord like once I think it was after the stitchery swap had started last time, and my list was already full, and I said, I'll put you on my list for next time, and she sent me a square anyway. It was the most amazing square, and I've seen some of the fabulous squares she's been sending out to people this time. Beautiful. So I think I'm gonna do a separate video opening this. I'm gonna put that to one side. This is just what I needed today. Feeling a bit sorry for myself for no particular reason, really. So I think, yeah, for the rest of this video, I'm going to talk to you about what I had. A video I had planned to do anyway. I need to know what this is. Jen, tell me what this is for. Have you already told me about this and I've forgotten? My head is like a sieve lately. Low ran project card. And there's arrows running back and forth. I need to know what that's for. Oh, thank you, Jen. I really appreciate that. I'll message her anyway in a minute and let her know that's all arrived safely. Oh, and it's just, I'm going to be all fired up, ready to start this. Well, several projects I've got in mind for the new year. The one I was going to talk to you anyway about today. Now, this also was inspired by Jen, because she sent me some books, and one of the books was this one by Julia Caprara. Don't know if I'm saying that name right. Exploring Colour. And all of the books that she sent were really inspiring in terms of giving you lots of ideas for getting inspiration from the world around you, really, and interpreting it in stitchery, and really kind of artful stitchery. And I'd love to explore that, do some more of that kind of thing, because I love all kinds of arts and crafts, and I love how quite often they can overlap and kind of speak to each other, and that's where I'm kind of going. So I'm not kind of set up for this because I wasn't expecting to do this, but let me just show you. I can smell that lovely lavender. Let me get my mug out of the way. So here is this beautiful book, and I showed this just recently and said, and when I opened a couple of books from Jen and a couple of books from the lovely Tori as well, who you'll know from Cool Kooky Creatures here on YouTube, I did a flick through of all of the books, and I was particularly inspired by this one because, they were all inspiring. I'm not going to go through it again because I've done that already. I will try and remember to link to the video where I had a better flick through this book. But I liked that this one is it's basically about getting colour inspiration from the world around us. And then with each chapter, there's a little colour school bit on the end with kind of assignments to get you to start taking you on your own colour inspiration journey, really. I love how, don't know if I mentioned when I was flicking through it before, that Jen's obviously found little pieces or made little pieces. This looks like a painted piece of some kind of paper that she's stuck in, and I've noticed, I don't know if she's done that anywhere else. Love the feel of that. Look at these. I'm getting distracted by the colour. And I said, when I was flicking through this bit before, I said, wouldn't it be fun to, if a few people fancied joining me on this journey? So if I flick through here, this talks about how to start putting a colour collection together and things, how to start observing the world around you and collecting things together, things that you might want to, materials that you might want to pull together to use. And here's the first assignment. So it's telling you to start with a small sketchbook, and your inspirational starting point for this project will be one colour family. So you'll collect things around a theme, and that's where I'm going to be starting. So in January, I won't give a date in January yet, but I want to start in early January. I'm going to start putting together, I'm going to start kind of working through exercises and things in this book, but I will definitely be putting my own spin on it. I think, we all do that, don't we, with these? It's just, I see this kind of thing as a starting point, just to kind of give you a kick off, just to get those creative cogs turning. So it'd be really fun if a few of us work through this kind of idea together. And quite a few people have said in the comments that they would like to join me in this little journey, so hopefully you'll be watching. And we can all start this journey together in January. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to take us, but I know it will be fun, and as I say, I will put my own spin on it. I can imagine this going through like 6 months or even a year. Let's see what happens. Let's we'll keep going as long as we're enjoying ourselves. I have got, now because I wasn't ready, I'm going to have to stop a minute and collect up a couple of things. Okay, I think that's probably all I need to show you for now. I have been and got myself on Amazon. I've found what I think is an ideal sketchbook as a kind of starting point. So if I show you, let's go back to the desk again. So this is the one I ended up getting. I shopped around quite a bit. It was a balance between price and quality and kind of what I'd heard about, and I really liked this one, and I got it for £10.35. Apparently it's normally £13 and it was supposed to be on special, but I don't know how I don't know how special that is, or if you can always get it for £10.35, but even for £13 I'd have probably been quite happy with it. So it's this Ohuhu brand, which I've seen a lot of my friends use their pens and paints and things and have been happy with them. I liked that. Just close this a minute. I liked that because it's spiral bound, it will always open flat, because it annoys me when you can't open things up properly. I also liked that each page is perforated there. Hang on, I'll take this one out so you can see. So it should be easy to just tear out a page. It's not that easy actually. Okay, it was alright once I got it going. So what I might do, you could just tear a page out, through the coils, but I don't like it when the coils get all warped. It always annoys me. And what I might do is leave these bits in. So where I'm going to put something into this sketchbook, because I'll be collecting up in here all kinds of bits and pieces, different kinds of fabrics and papers and things I find outside, clippings, all kinds of things. So there will be a certain amount of thickness, and although I don't mind it doing the kind of crocodile mouth a little bit, I don't want it being ridiculous, because I want to be able to stack it on my shelf. So what I can do is, if I'm going to have a lot of chunky stuff on a page, I can take out a couple of 2 or 3 sheets to give a bit more depth to accommodate that, and I can keep these to use for swatching and for doing separate pictures that will go in my journal, all sorts of things. None of this will be wasted. I just won't necessarily want it all staying in here. I will probably end up covering or changing the cover, but I'll probably leave that until I'm done, and that'll be a kind of final a finishing touch to my sketchbook. I love the other thing about coil binding is that I love that you can tie bits of coloured ribbons to it. I'll turn it over because the camera does not like that shiny black. You can tie bits of ribbon and little charms and whatever you want you can tie on here and make it all look gorgeous, because I want this sketchbook to be a thing of joy. I will be working in it for probably months, and I want to, every time I pick it up, I want to feel So and the other little selling point, and I've never come across this before, is that in with this came this kind of silicone sheet, and my understanding is that that's to put underneath, so if you're working on this page, you won't be leaving an impression on that page. I've never come across that before, but I thought that was quite a nice idea, and I can imagine this would be quite a handy sheet, because I don't know about you, but if I've just got one thin sheet of paper and I'm working on there, I don't like how hard it feels. So I can imagine, especially if I'm writing, being able to put this underneath to just give a little bit of yield to the surface. So I thought that would be handy, and that was all included. So I'm going to need my sketchbook. Now, that first assignment involved making your own small sketchbook. So if you want to be joining me in this little journey, find yourself your main sketchbook you're going to be working in. But for this first time in January, I'm going to be starting to look through all of the things that Julia talks about in this book and start making a start on my first assignment, this small sketchbook. So to make that, she suggests using a mixture of she says, these are the suggestions for the main sketchbook to work in. So you could make your own book up like a junk journal, really, with all different kinds of papers, such as tracing papers, old envelopes, watercolour paper, tissue papers, blah, 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 blah. You could make it up and clip it together with bulldog clips or staples, or you could use a commercially produced sketchbook. So this is my commercially produced sketchbook, which I'm going to work in for the main part of this. But I think for this first assignment, I'm going to make up my own little kind of junk journal version of a sketchbook, just a little mini one to work in. So I'm going to collect up some different types of paper. I might have some vellum or tracing, heavyweight sort of tracing paper, just some copy paper. I might put some thin calico in there, maybe some brown paper envelopes. I'll start saving some of the junk mail and things. Possibly some of the Christmas cards that will be about to hit the recycling by then would work well. And then I have actually got a bind it all machine that will do a coil binding like this, so I might use that. But in January I will show different ways that you could do it, as they suggest here, with bulldog clips or using book rings or stitching it together. I'll show a few different ways that you could do it. So if you want to join in, you could just start collecting together some different kinds of paper and surfaces you might like to work on. Another thing I think would be handy, I know some people have actually gone ahead and bought this book as well, got as excited as I did about it, but I don't think you need to do that. If you'll be able to join in with us anyway if you haven't got the book. I've got one of these anyways, but it might be a handy thing to get. They're very reasonable to buy, very, very reasonable. I can't even remember, but you can get these for like £2 or £3. And I use these all the time, one of these colour wheels. So they help you to pick out different colour schemes. They help you to know things like what's opposite on the colour wheel, all that kind of. So it's a useful thing to have. And then some of the other things that Julia suggests we might need. So sketchbook we talked about, scissors or craft knife. I will hold this up here, so if you wanted to, you could freeze this screen and jot this down. Glue or double-sided adhesive tape. I've always got loads of different kinds of glue and things. I find a stapler is really handy as well for collecting snippets and things in. I love the look of a staple in it, so I would say a stapler that would be a really useful thing to have around. And things like bulldog clips and things like that, paper clips, all of those kind of things. Anything you can attach something to a page with. Coloured crayons and oil pastels, poster colour or designers, gouache paint. Well, I love using gouache, and it doesn't have to be expensive. I found this pack in the not the works, in one of our local pound shops. Now everything isn't a pound in the pound shop anymore. I think this is like £3. And it's Daler Rowney. It's probably, you know, student grade. I don't know, it doesn't actually say that. But they're pretty good, you know. And that would certainly do for this. You've got a basic range of colours in there. But I know I've got a big set of gouache paints somewhere. I think I've put them up in a drawer up the top, which I won't rummage for now. But I also love you've probably heard me bang on about it before. I love my Inktense pencils. And one of the reasons I love them is that you can use them as a pencil, but then when you activate them with water, the colours really sing. And you know, I love that. But normal watercolour pencils as well would be good. If you like using a little, you know, if you've got one of those little travel watercolour paint sets, that would do. Just something to add a bit of colour. Another thing I love using, water-based felt pens. Now, I've got this set that I've had for more than 10 years and they still work. I don't think they even make these anymore, but I know there are similar things to this that you can get, and you wouldn't need a whole big set like this, you know, just a few colours would do. But what I love about them is that you've got a brush pen one end, a fine one the other end, and you can just, you know, all you need is a few of these and oops, hang on, let me find one, and a little paintbrush or one of those this is a fancy one we got in last month's school box, but you know, you get less fancy ones, one of these water brushes. So if you were going out and about doing little sketches and things as part of this project, don't think you need to go. If you can't get out of the house, don't worry, we can definitely do this without leaving the comfort of our own homes. And yeah, you can just use a water and a brush and activate these colours. So they're very, very versatile. It's like having a, you know, especially if you get one where you've got a fine line on one end and brush pen the other and a water brush together, you know, that gives you so much versatility. So if it's not too late to put stuff like this on, if you haven't got something like this and it's not too late and you want to join in, this might be something to put on your Christmas wish list. So yeah, just some way or ways of adding colour to our sketchbooks would be good. And then what else does she say? A collection of coloured papers. Yeah, you could build this up by collecting wrapping papers, coloured cellophane and flower papers. And Christmas is a good time to be, so don't throw away any of that wrapping. I don't throw away any of the wrapping anyway. Plus colour photos taken from magazines. So yeah, if you've got any of those, this time of the year you quite often get a lot of the seed catalogues coming through, don't you? Those would be useful to keep hold of. I did just recently, see if I can reach this. I was laughing at myself the other day, watching myself back on the videos I did recently. I seem to be able to sit here and without getting off my bum, I can reach almost everything I want. So these are some beautiful napkins that have been sent to me by people. So those could be handy to add colour and pattern. And this was some of the papers you might have seen me doing a momigami video a few weeks back now, where I took old scrapbook papers and things like that and used a starch paste and crumpled them up to turn them, to give them more of a kind of fabricy quality, so they're much more, you can stitch into them. So I might be able to bring in some of these. Love all those colours. But my collage, my collage fodder drawer, where I've got old jelly prints that I've done or bits of paper I've I don't know, hung on to, hoarded, or anything that you think would be a nice way of adding colour and texture and pattern. I've got things like this, like my bag of little scrap fabrics. I've got lots of these bags of scrap fabrics, all different textures and colours and things. So a few bits like that. As Julia says here, as you become more confident and experienced, you'll find that you favour certain items more than others to work with. One thing I love the idea of making a small sketchbook, especially for this first assignment, is that you can just take that one sheet before you put the whole book together. Just take that one sheet, work on it. You can run it through your sewing machine and do whatever you like with it, and then clip it all together. I like the idea that you can clip things in. So this, knowing me and the way I work, this will end up very messy indeed, but I think that's a good thing. I will probably end up creating little tuck spots to tuck things into. I might fold some pages over. I might even tear them out part way and fold them up, and whatever. I will do all kinds of things. This book will not be recognisable by the end. So I would say if you've already got something, use what you've got. You don't need to spend too much on it. We're not going to do works of art on this, but it does need to be sturdy enough paper to take a bit of weight and some kind of wet media and gluing. So this, what was the weight of this one? It's not much, yeah. So it's 200 GSM, £120. Ideal for wet and dry media. I think mixed media paper is a good thing to look for, because whatever we end up doing, because this is all a bit of an unexpected, unplanned journey, really. So I think something that says mixed media paper will allow for whatever we end up doing with it. Another thing that I might bring into play is this is a journal wrap that I made a while back. I've got some pencils and things in it that I was using before. I might repurpose this one. Yeah, something like this where you can keep it all together. I was going to say I could repurpose this one, but actually I don't think it's big enough, is it? No, it's nowhere near big enough. I could wrap the whole thing up, but it would be a bit, yeah. So yeah, I went for this size. They did do these in smaller sizes, but I quite liked the square. So I might even make myself another wrap. It might be a good reason to do another little piece of Kawandi or something to make a wrap, especially for this project. I don't know. And then you can tuck your little watercolour set in there, your pens there, a pencil, and whatever you think you're gonna need. Maybe have a little pouch here where little bulldog clips could go. Oh, another thing that's quite handy is just to have some washi tape or artist tape or something that you can just stick things in with really easily. Glue stick is going to be handy. I think I will probably make myself a little kind of portable kit that will fit in a pouch like this. But I will undoubtedly be using a lot of other stuff in this craft room that won't all fit in a pouch. But it's just, sometimes it's nice to take it downstairs or out in the garden when the weather warms up again, So yeah, that's all a bit kind of haphazard at the moment, but I'm really excited. I'm so pleased that a few people have said, oh yeah, I'll join you in that journey, because I just think it'll make it more fun and we'll keep each other going. If you lose your motivation, it helps sometimes to think, no, we've got to keep going, because we're all doing this little journey together. So but if you want to just join in and watch along and see what we all create, that's fine as well. We can share what we're doing in the Discord, in the Art Show and Tell room in Discord, and in the Facebook group, the Arty Farty Annie Facebook group. Links to everything are in my link tree, which you'll find in the description box. In case you're wondering, the Discord community and everything, they're all free. That you don't have to join a Patreon or pay anything or whatever. They're just free to join. And we do have a lot of fun in there. I've made some such good friends in there. It's just a whole lot of kindred souls coming together, really. I think I just feel like I've waffled on in a really haphazard way, but hopefully you've got the gist of what I'm getting at. I'm very excited to start this. It won't be long after Christmas. It'll be early in January that I will get started on this project, and I'm so excited that some people have said they're going to join me as well. And I think you could just join in, just start gathering some junk mail that we can turn into a little mini sketchbook, and some scraps of fabric and something to add colour with. I will probably have a couple of soft pencils, like 2B and 4B pencils, and a rubber and a sharpener. And if I had to choose one thing, I'd be torn between those water-based felt pens or the gouache. So I will probably do a mixture of both. But anything, whatever your favourite ways of adding splashes of colour. And we can gather more stuff as we go along. So to get started in January, just start collecting up some junk mail and different kinds of paper and stuff. Maybe some little pieces of calico. They would make great pages as well, I think. And then we'll take it from there. I'm so excited. Give us a shout in the comments if you're up for it. I know there were several people before. I can't remember all the names now, so I'm not going to say one or two and leave people out. So I'm not going to say any names at all. Jen, thank you so much for those amazing pieces of the felted blanket and that recycled bottles felt. Who knew? So excited. That'll give me a great start for some new projects. And thank you for get me started on this journey with the Julia Caprara book. That's just, I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy it. I think a lot of us will really enjoy this, and perhaps take us in some new directions for the new year, which is always fun, isn't it? I don't make the normal kind of New Year's resolutions, because I just think you're setting yourself up to fail and giving yourself something else to beat yourself up for later on. I like my New Year's resolutions to be more about what am I looking forward to this year? What can we, positive thoughts, I think. Oh, that feels very waffly and messy, that video. If you've got any questions about what I've rambled on about, please do shout in the comments. I'll be very happy to try and help. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I will see you again really soon. Bye. I'm going to open that. I've got this to open now. Oh, exciting.